If you were trapped in a 10 by 10 room with the floor being all one block and the walls being inescapable bedrock, which block would be the worst to stand on? I picked out 10 of the worst blocks and compared them all to see what was truly the worst block to stand on in Minecraft. But before I can assess them, I should create a few basic tests that I'll perform on each block. The first test is simply which block does the most damage in the least amount of time. The second test is to find out which block makes the player take the most time to get from point A to point B, with the total distance being 10 blocks. The final test is to see which block personally annoys me the most. The goal for a block is to have the lowest possible score with all three categories added up. For example, I would give dirt a 10 out of 10 for each category because it is not a bad block to stand on. First, let's start off with the best of the worst, or the block that isn't that bad to stand on, the magma block. It took a total average time of 12.43 seconds to kill me when I was at full health. Because of this time, it ranked 5th for damage, making it near the best worst block to stand on. When I tried to walk across the 10 blocks, it only took me 2.42 seconds, making it 9th in that category. And finally, I gave it a 9 for how much I enjoyed standing on top of it, primarily because I just had a fun time jumping around with it, ending it with a total of 23. Also, if you have a guess for which block may be number 1 worst block to stand on, comment it now and see if you're right by the end of the video. I'll respond to all comments, so make sure to do so. Next is a tie between two blocks, Netherrack with fire and the Skulk Shrieker. Starting with the Shrieker, it obviously did no damage to me at all, but the darkness made me so scared I would have to kill another warden like I did in this video, so I simply gave it a 7 since 2 other blocks tied for doing 0 damage. And the speed was actually the fastest speed of 2.35 out of all the blocks, with a 10 to represent that. Finally, the annoyance, the sound. The sound! The inescapability of it nearly drove me mad, and that's not even death can free you from it. So a 2 seems justified, rounding the score off with a 19. Next is Netherrack, which also got a 19, but with it actually doing damage and killing me in 12.16 seconds, it earned a 3 in the damage category. But because it only took me 2.45 seconds to travel those 10 blocks, it was 8th in the speed category. And to round it off, I actually found it pretty enjoyable to be in the fire because I could jump higher and death came soon, so I gave an 8 for not that bad of a block. Alright, this block surprised me with how much damage it did. Next up is the Cactus, which managed to kill me in 11.43 seconds, giving it a 2 in the damage category. With carpets filling the gaps, the travel time was also surprising with a time of 3.31 seconds, giving it a 5 in that category. I'm most certain that it was the best block to stand on with all of these tricks that you can do. In fact, there's a lot you can do with it, so I just gave it a 10 in the annoyance category. Oh, also a fun fact that was in one of my older videos is that if you die while you're near a cactus, your stuff will be gone. It will just be gone. Dropping netherite on it destroys it completely. So just don't die near them. Anyways, the total for the Cactus is 17, making it the 6th in the rankings overall. The 5th worst block has another tie between Honey and a Wither Rose on grass. Starting with Honey, obviously taking no damage, the ranking in there is impossible, so it earned a 7, because it was one of the other blocks than the Skulk Shrieker that didn't do damage. But the speed test ranked Honey the 4th slowest in the time trials, with an average time of 3.75 seconds. And because of this fact, that it was so slow, and I couldn't jump at all, I gave it 5th for the most annoying, giving the total a cool 16. The Wither Rose is also something that annoyed me a bit, but also came 4th for most damage in the least amount of time, with a kill time of 12.35 seconds. And it was also the 6th slowest block, with a time of 2.83 seconds. In that sense, I was surprised that the damage is actually less than the Cactus and the Netherrack. But I wasn't surprised when I gave it a 6 for annoyance, because of how dumb it is when your hearts start turning black and I can't see how long I am low, and I'm so stupid. Anyways, time for the 4th worst block to stand on, the Soul Campfire, which had a kill time of 5.7 seconds, getting 1st in that sense. The next runner-up, the Cactus, had double that time, which is ridiculous. The speed, however, doesn't handle too well, with a time of 2.6 seconds, making it the 7th slowest. And because it was a quick kill, and I got to see a cool block design with the texture, I simply gave it a 7 in the annoyance category, finishing the score with a cool, nice, easy 15. Alright, now we're in the top 3, with the 3rd one being so surprising to me to see this high up on the list for worst blocks, which is Powdered Snow. I didn't know how bad this block was to stand on until I did it. It may have taken me near a minute to die from standing on it with a time of 56.6 seconds and getting 6th in the damage section, but it was number 2 in the speed category, the staggering 10.76 second time to travel 10 whole blocks. That's so incredibly slow. Now, for the annoyance category, I gave it a 4 because you can't jump, this stupid overlay pops up, and it's a bit slow. But I didn't really get any higher because I like the Frosty Hearts, so it ends with a total of 12. Number 2 is something that I would absolutely despise to stand on, and it doesn't even do any damage, so it already has a 7 in the first category. I'm of course talking about the Cobweb. That is literally so slow. I waited 19.12 seconds just to travel 10 blocks. That's nearly 2 seconds per block. That's hell! And it's also a 1 in the slowest freaking Minecraft block in the game. In case you couldn't tell, I gave it a 1 in the annoyance category. It's annoying. 9 overall. And now, for the worst possible block to stand on. The winner is Soul Sand that is on fire. It's just so awful, so painful, and so slow to stand on this. Tying with the Soul Campfire, I get another time of 5.7 seconds for the damage, giving it a 1 there, and a time of 4.1 seconds for the speed, giving it 3rd slowest. And of course for the annoyance of 3rd most annoying because of the stupidity of moving around on it with it being so slow and doing so much damage. And I just hate it in nature too. But anyway, the total adds up to 7, making it, in my opinion, and in the data's opinion collaboratively, the worst possible Minecraft block to stand on. But before I leave you, to make it even worse, put cobwebs on the block above the blue fire and you will have a hell trip. But the lesson of all of this is just don't go to the Soul Sand Valley, and instead go to the subscriber button, which has a score of 30 for obvious reasons, and comment your least favorite Minecraft block to stand on in your opinion.